ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita study group. Thank you all for joining. Since we've taken a little break, I'm going to start back by doing a quick revision of everything that we've covered in chapter 7 so far. Okay? The chapter starts with Krishna saying, ki look, spiritual life begins with listening. Tat shrunu. We must listen. And we must listen with faith. If we do that, then we will get knowledge and all our doubts will disappear. Right? As soon as we get knowledge and all our doubts disappear, the natural outcome is that we will accept God as our ultimate shelter. So always keep in mind, everything happens just by hearing. Okay? And if you're truly, honestly interested in hearing, then Krishna promises that he will give us complete knowledge. Please understand, complete knowledge about this material world, complete knowledge about us, the Jivatmas, and complete knowledge about himself, God. So if we simply listen carefully, attentively, then Krishna will give us this very, very confidential Jnana and Vijnana. Okay? So he first talks about his material energies. He says, Bhumir apo nalo vayu kham man buddhi ahankar. These are his separated energies. Bhumi is earth, apaha is water, anala fire, vayu air, kham is ether. And then man, the mind, buddhi is the intelligence, and ahankar, false ego. All of these, they're all Krishna's separated energies. So he says, these are my inferior energies, but I also have one superior energy. And what is that? That is us, the living entities, the jivas, the atmas, right? We are the superior energy of the Lord, right? Inferior energy is Bhumir apo nalo vayu kham man buddhi ahankar, matter. But we, the living entities, the jivatmas, we are the superior energy. We use the inferior energy for different purposes. And this is how the entire material world functions. Clear? At this point, Arjun probably looks a little confused. How can Krishna be earth? How can Krishna be fire? How can Krishna possibly be water? Right? So Krishna gives a beautiful explanation. He says, Arjun, when you drink water, right, that taste of water, that ras, right, that taste which quenches your thirst, I am that ras. Similarly, when you go near fire, you feel heat, right? I am that heat in fire. You hear sound in ether, I am that sound. I'm the smell of the earth, I'm the light of the sun, I'm the light of the moon. Right? So please understand, whatever your eyes see, I am that. Whatever your nose smells, I am that. Whatever your ears hear, that is me. Whatever your tongue tastes, right? That lovely gulab jamun, that delicious rasagulla, I am that. and whatever sensation your skin feels. I am that. Right? And not just that, all desires, all intelligence, all abilities, right? Whatever talents you have, absolutely everything that you have, well, where do you think that comes from? That comes from me, right? I am the seed from which everything and everyone is born. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam. Krishna says he is the source of the entire creation. He and he alone is responsible for prabhava and pralaya, for creation and for destruction. So he is the creator, he is the sustainer, and he is the ultimate annihilator. Right? He is the one that holds the entire creation together. It's just that we don't see him. So the analogy that he gave is, we see a string of pearls, right? We only see the pearls. We don't actually see the string that holds them together. Hai na? But all the pearls are held together by what? By that string. So Krishna is that string. He is the one who holds us all together. And then he goes ahead and he says, ki look, entire material energy is nothing but me. So goodness, passion and ignorance, all these modes are explained in greater detail in the 14th, 17th and 18th chapter. So don't worry too much about the modes just now. But Krishna says ki whatever mode you're in, right? Whatever modes you understand, all these modes, they originate in me. They are a manifestation of my energy. So if you want to get out of these modes, if you want to come into Shuddha Sattva, if you want to really engage in spirituality, then there is a very simple solution. Anybody remembers what that solution is?
That verse is there, no? Devi Hesha Gunamayi.
I love you so much. Yeah, please say it.
Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Te Prabhadyante Maya Deshan Taranti.
Maya Metam Taranti Te. Beautiful. Absolutely brilliant. What Krishna is saying is, Daivi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. He says, look, this Maya, she is Daivi. She is my Shakti. Okay? And she is Duratyaya. She is very, very difficult to cross over. So this material world that we are in, which is full of miseries, this is Maya and this is God's energy. And God himself is saying, yes, she is very, very difficult to cross over. It is very difficult for you to jump over this material world and go towards the spiritual world. But there is a solution. That solution is simple. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Surrender to me and me alone. If you do that, Maya metam tarantite. You will be able to cross over Maya. तुम माया की जो नदी है उससे तर जाओगे. Right? So, there is only one solution to getting out of the miseries of this material world and moving towards our original home. That is, Mam eva ye prapadyante. Surrender to Krishna. One sure short way. Now, after he's spoken all these words, Krishna realizes कि अब तो है ना, Arjun is going to think कि if it is so easy to defeat Maya, क्या करना है? सिर्फ भगवान को तो surrender करना है. Right? Very simple. Then why is it that most people fail? And that is what Krishna is going to explain today. Okay? So are we clear so far? We've completed 14 verses of chapter 7. Do we have any questions up till here? Reshma, you have a question, dear?
No.
Okay. Alright? Okay. So now we will start with verse number 15. Okay? That is the new session that we are starting. From verse 15 to verse 19, Krishna is going to explain 4 kinds of people who don't surrender to him and 4 kinds of people who do surrender to him. Right? So why do people not surrender and who are the people who surrender? Very simple. Okay? Please repeat after me, verse number 15. Namam dushkrutino mudhaha prapadyante naradhamaha mayaya parutagnyana asuram bhavamashritah.
Yes, those miscreants who are grossly foolish, who are lowest amongst mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake by the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me.
Okay, very nice. So Krishna has said that simply by surrendering to him, we can get out of this whole chakkar of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. Right? And still we see there are so many educated people, philosophers, scientists, businessmen, doctors, engineers, powerful leaders. How is it that they don't surrender to Krishna? If liberation is so easy, just क्या करना है, भगवान को surrender करना है, then why do these intelligent, hard-working people not take this simple method? Krishna says, because they don't know better. Because they are in illusion. Right? They are caught in the modes of passion and ignorance. So they have a lot of intelligence which they are using improperly. Their intelligence, their efforts are all misdirected. So they are called dushkrutina. Kruti matlab karya karna, doing some action. And dush means bad. So these are people who are leading a sinful life. They are wrongdoers. Right? And they fall under 4 different categories. Listen carefully, because we are not talking about other people. When we listen, we have to figure out कि हम कितने पानी में हैं. Right? Which kind of dushkritino am I? Alright? Okay. So first he says mudhas. The totally foolish people, they work like donkeys. They are extremely hardworking. Right? But they are doing all the work for a wrong master. They are working hard day and night. और उसको end में क्या मिलता है? 1 bundle of grass. Why does he need to work? He could just stray here and there and eat grass, right? पूरा दिन काम करता है to get 1 bundle of grass. So this is the karmi. He doesn't even understand कि भाई मैं काम क्यों कर रहा हूँ. In the 3rd chapter itself, God had said, यज्ञार्थात् कर्मणु अन्यत्र लोकोयम कर्म बंधनः तद अर्थम कर्म काउंतेय मुक्त संगः समाचरः. Work should be done for him, for Vishnu. Right? That's the only way work should be done. Otherwise, any work that we do, it binds us in this material world. Right? So these mudhas, they are ignorant. They just don't know. They lack spiritual knowledge. They don't know anything about the soul. They don't know that the ultimate goal is to go back home. The ultimate goal is God realization or self-realization. So they work day and night. And every time you want to talk to them, they'll say, yaar, time nahi hai. Right? For them, it's always about material gains. इतना कमाते हैं, इतना मेहनत करते हैं, but they enjoy also a very small fraction because they're so busy working all the time. You know? We'll all find people around us, people very dear to us, sleepless nights, ulcers, anxiety, tension, blood pressure. Right? सब कुछ होता है. And yet what are they doing? Working day and night. For what? They don't know. Because they don't know who the real master is. Every time you want to connect with them, favorite response, time nahi hai. So you should remember a very beautiful line that I read some time back. If you have no time for spirituality, then you are busier than God intended you to be. है ना? If you have no time for self-introspection, if you have no time to sit down and think कि भाई मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ और क्यों कर रहा हूँ, then you are busier than God intended you to be. So solution, slow down. Right? Applies to each and every one of us. If you're busy, if you're running around like bugris, then solution, slow down. So those are the mudhas. After that, Krishna says there is another class of dushkruti. They are nara dhamas. Nara means human and adhama means lowest. So the lowest of mankind, absolutely uncivilized creatures. Now for this we have to first understand what do you mean by civilized, right? We all think we're very civilized, but the real meaning of civilized is those people who have a regulated life. A life in which you have social regulations, political regulations, spiritual regulations, right? When you have a regulated religious life, fundamental, basic, regular religious practices when you're doing in your life, then you are civilized. It could be anything. Light a diya in the morning, fast on Ekadashi, read a little, sham ko diya kar lo, temple chale jao, do some yajna, some dana, some tapa, right? Any kind of religious aspect which you follow regularly in your life, that makes you civilized. Otherwise, we are animals. We are stuck in what? Ahar, nidra, bhay, maithunya. Nothing else. In food, sleep, fear and intercourse. Right? If we are simply stuck in this, then we are animals. Then we are naradhamas. If we are above this, if we have some kind of religious principle, then we are civilized. Okay? So Krishna says, those people who are stuck in ahar, nidra, bhay, maithunya, they are naradhamas. So they never surrender to me. Then the third class, mayaya parhuta jnanaha. Now these people, they have a lot of jnana. They are very, very learned. Right? We see around us very accomplished people. Great philosophers, great engineers, poets, literati, right? We read books, scientists. But Maya misguides them. Right? Maya has kidnapped their knowledge. Mayaya parhuta jnana. They have knowledge, but Maya has put a veil around it. Right? People are so proud of their intellect and they say, I have no faith in the scriptures, I have no faith in sadhu, I have no faith in God. Whatever I accomplish mere bal pe. Right? So Guru Sadhu Shastra does not figure in their life. They have all possible resources in their life. They have knowledge, but it is all wasted because Maya has put a veil around it. Their knowledge is being misused. And the last class is Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha. Those people whose entire bhav is very asur jaise. People who have demoniac principles. They are complete atheistic. They are non-believers. They have money, they have power, they have everything, but their thoughts and their actions are demoniac. Right? We know a lot of people around us. Right? From scriptures, of course, best examples would be Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, right? Extremely learned, extremely wealthy. They were kings. They sat down in tapasya for years. They did all kinds of really, really difficult tapasyas. So materially very learned, very accomplished, but they misused their intelligence. Right? They refute everything about God. These people, they're aware of God. They're aware of what God's purpose is, and they still work against Him. Right? So that is Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha. So these are the four kinds of people who don't surrender to God. Mudha, foolish people. Naradhama, ekdam lowest among nar. Mayaya Parutta Jnana, people who are in illusion. I am the doer.
1 minute.
Yes.
That people who are
Atheistic.
For that you said atheist. For that you told Ravan. But Ravan is a devotee of Lord Shiva, isn't it?
Correct. But he is still against the universal principle. Right? He is envious of the Supreme Lord. He is a great devotee of Shivji, but he knows that there is somebody above him. No, otherwise why would he have had those prayers? If you look at all of them, they pray to other gods for boons to defeat the Supreme Most God. Right? So they recognize that there is a supreme power and they want to be more powerful than that. Right? Okay. So Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha, the demoniac. So these are the four people who will never surrender to God. छोड़ दो इनको. मत ज़्यादा उनके पीछे लगो. उनका कर्म उनको ले आएगा जब भी लाना है तब. Then in verse 16, Krishna talks about the 4 kinds of people who actually surrender to him. Right? We will have some of those dushkruti in us, but we will find ourselves more in these 4 types of people. Okay? So pay attention. Please repeat after me. Verse number 16. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinarjuna arto jignasuraartharthi gnani cha bharatarshava.
O best among the Bharatas, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute.
So, who are the 4 guys who did not surrender? The dushkrutinas. Right? People who are doing bad activities. Dushkriya. Now we'll see who the sukrutina. Those who do good activities. The pious people. Okay, we'll see who are the pious people. Now please remember, these people are pious. They are not pure devotees. Pure devotees are the ones who pray to God for nothing in return. They pray to God because they want to pray to God. Okay, but these are sukritina. They are doing pious activities because they want something in exchange for their devotional service. Okay, so these are people who originally approach God because they want something in return, but over a period of time they surrender completely to God. They become pure devotees. Okay, we will definitely find ourselves here. So the 4 kinds of people who surrender to God. The first one, artha, distressed. भगवान जी मुझे बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है and so I have come to you. Right? In this world, we're full of miseries. Right? We're unable to cope. But when we are unable to cope, we take the right shelter. आश्रय किसका लिया? भगवान का लिया. Right? So artha. Remember Draupadi's surrender? Duryodhan and Dushasan were trying to disrobe her in the whole assembly. Right? Initially she expected that, her very powerful husbands will save her. They did not. Then she pleaded to Bhishma, to Dronacharya, to Vidur, to Dhritarashtra, to Bhishma Pitama. She pleaded to all of them. Everybody remained speechless. Right? When Dushasan started pulling the sari, what did she do? She held the sari in her own teeth. Right? Because she is Divya Kanya. Extremely powerful. So she thought, okay, chalo, mere strength pe, mere balboote pe, I will try and, protect my own izzat. But then she realized कि नहीं, ये मुझसे नहीं हो रहा है. What does she do? Dwarkavasi Krishna, please come and help me. Right? At that point, when she realized कि I cannot surrender to anybody else, I cannot even rely on my own strength. That time she sought the ultimate shelter. And the minute she said Dwarkavasi Kanha, that sari never stopped. That sari kept extending. Right? Dushasan kept trying to pull, but whatever he did, he was unable to disrobe Draupadi. He got exhausted, he gave up. Right? That is Krishna's protection. But it comes only when you surrender. Right? So the first type is artho. I'm in trouble, God help me. When I'm in trouble, I go to God. In fact, there is another example that I like very much, and that is Uttara. Do we know who Uttara is? Arjun's son, Abhimanyu. Right? Abhimanyu, very young, he was killed in the Chakravyuh in the battle. Abhimanyu had a young bride at home, Uttara. And Uttara was pregnant. Right? Abhi battle mein, this Ashwathama who was fighting on, Ashwathama is Dronacharya's son. Right? He wanted to please Duryodhan. Now he's killed the 5 Pandavs' son accidentally. The last living Pandav is in Uttara's womb. Right? After the 5 Pandavs, everybody else was dead. There was only one successor. Who was that? Jo Uttara ke pet mein tha. Parikshit Maharaj. Right? So what does this rascal do? He leaves the Brahmastra to go kill the baby in the womb of Uttara. Right? Uttara feels this whole fire and she comes running out. When she comes running out, she sees Arjun there, she sees Bhim there, she sees Yudhishthir, Nakul, Sahadev. She sees all these beautiful, strong Pandavas. Unke bagal mein Krishna. She doesn't go to any of her father-in-laws. She goes running to Krishna. Pahi, Pahi, Mahayogin. O greatest yogi, O greatest master of mystics, you please protect me. Right? She could have gone to anybody else. Right? Arjun is the big, Gandhidhari Arjun. But no, she went to Krishna. And Krishna immediately entered her womb and destroyed the Brahmastra and saved Parikshit Maharaj. So, all of us go through distress. पर हम किसका आश्रय लेते हैं, that is very, very important. Okay? We're studying Kunti Maharani prayers. Whenever, whatever happens in your life, you take the right shelter. Right? And Krishna will give you exclusive protection. Right? Gajendra is another example. So we see a lot of these. Artho. Second one Krishna says is Jidnyasu. Jidnyasu. I am just inquisitive. Right? I've heard so much about God. I've heard so many stories in my bachpan. I've heard people talk of their experiences, their encounters. And so I'm very, very curious to know more about God. Right? So I'm inquisitive and therefore I'm listening and I'm trying to understand. And God has said, the more you listen, the more you will understand, all your doubts will get cleared and you will take my ashray. Right? So, Jidnyasu. It's very, very good to come to God even if you're simply curious. Then the third. Most of us, right, will be Jidnyasu. God has put us in very comfortable positions, right? We're all sitting. Life is not really throwing too much distress at us, but we're inquisitive. Right? We've all been raised in homes where we've heard a lot growing up. है ना? इधर उधर कहानियाँ. We've seen people with so much faith. We've somehow or the other, attended some Bhagavad Saptaha, gone to temples, done things in our life. घर में कोई ना कोई पूजा पाठ होते ही रहता है. So, जिज्ञासु. Because we felt नहीं यार, अब है ना properly study करना है, properly figure out करना है कि भाई who is this God? What is he doing in my life? So, जिज्ञासु. Right? That brings us to this knowledge. After that is Artha Arthi. जिसको कोई अर्थ चाहिए, some material gain. Right? Some people are very, very clear कि भाई मुझे चाहिए क्या? है ना? I want a visa, I want to move to the US. So what do? I go and pray to visa wala Balaji. Right? Or I want Vidya. I pray to Saraswati. I know what I want and so I sit down and I pray to God. मुझे अर्थ चाहिए, अर्थ अर्थी. So for some material gain, I go to God. Best example, Dhruv Maharaj. इतने छोटे से 5 साल के बच्चे थे, insulted by stepmother, father did nothing to help him. He was so sad, he was so angry. He went to his mother. Mother said, I'm so sorry, bache, but I can't help you. There is only one person in this entire world who can help you and that is Vishnu. Go pray to Vishnu. Now our little Dhruv, he wanted to become more powerful than his father. Right? So who did he pray to? Vishnu. He had an option, he could go back, fight with his father, complain, throw a tantrum, आप मुझे प्यार ही नहीं करते हो, आप मुझे गोदी में बैठने ही नहीं देते हो, आप बस छोटे बच्चे का प्यार करते हो. He could do all of this, right? We see this in our lives. But no, he realized instantly that my father is not able to help me. My father is henpecked. छोड़ दो इनको. Who do I go to because I want to be greater than my father? Vishnu. When did tapasya? Met Vishnu. Right? And we all still see Dhruvalok. Right? We all see Dhruv planet. So, Artha Arthi. You want something, still go to God. And if you go to Him, you will automatically even become a pure devotee. And finally, the fourth one, Jnani. Jnani means I already have knowledge. Right? But I'm seeking God. I'm seeking God for God's sake. They truly understand that yes, I am part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. But Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Right? The Jidnyasus also come under this category, but Jidnyasu को ज़्यादा knowledge नहीं है. Jnani already has knowledge and he's sitting down in tapasya to realize that knowledge. Okay? They're constantly inquiring about what is Brahman, what is Paramatma, who is Bhagwan. Right? So that is the Jnani. So 4 kinds of people who take refuge in God. Please highlight them. Artho, sometimes we are in distress, we turn to God. Jidnyasu, we are inquisitive. यार चातुर्मास शुरू हो गया, यार चातुर्मास का क्या मतलब है? What do I have to do in चातुर्मास? है ना जिज्ञासु. अर्थार्थी, हे भगवान जी बच्चा बैठा है कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम के लिए, प्लीज उसको हेल्प कर दो. राइट? एंड ज्ञानी, भगवान जी आई वांट टू नो मोर एंड मोर अबाउट यू. I have complete faith in you, but I want to know more. Right? We fall in all these categories. Sometimes we are also mudhas, sometimes we are also naradhamas. Right? So we are also in the dushkrutino category. We are probably not asuram bhavam ashritaha. Right? Yes, Subbalakshmi.
One more category. What is that? Bharatarshava.
No, Bharat ka beta. That is Bharatarshava. That is Arjun. Bharatarshava is another name for Arjun.
Okay.
Okay? Bharat Rushabha. Rushabha means a saint. So, in the Bharat clan, one who is the greatest. So, one of the greatest descendants of Raja Bharat. That is Arjun. Okay? So, the 4 words over there are Artho, Jidnyasur, Artharthi and Jnani. Okay? Please spend this entire week trying to analyze how many times you've gone to God in distress. How many times you truly listen to a class because you just want to listen and know more. How many times you're actually seeking answers. You have questions. Right? And it's beautiful because God will continue to tell us that I love all 4 categories. Okay? Verse number 17 please. Please repeat. Tesham jnani nitya yukta एक भक्तिर विशेष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम अहम स च मम प्रियः. Lovely. So Krishna says, ठीक है, these are these 4 categories, na? Artho, Artharthi, Jidnyasu and Jnani. Out of these, I'm clearly telling you कि I love the Jnani the most. Because Jnani क्या है? उसके पास knowledge है. So when he is doing devotion, he does not want anything in return. They've understood कि this is a temporary world. Anything that I get over here is going to be temporary. I am praying to God because I want to go back to God. So Krishna says, yaar, Jnani hai na, is my favorite. Right? This guy, he loves me, I love him. Very simple. But he continues to say, verse number 18 please. Udara sarva evaite Jnani tvatmaiva me matam Astita sahi yuktatma.
All those devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me, I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and the most perfect good.
Lovely. So Krishna is saying, all these devotees, Artho, Artharthi, Jigyasu and Jnani, all of them are very, very dear to me. Okay? Krishna is not saying ki yaar, he's come to me only in terms of trouble, so I don't like him. He's come only because he wants to know a little more about him. I don't like him. Right? He's come because he wants something from me. I don't like him. Krishna is not saying that. He's saying all of these are very magnanimous souls. Right? Because anybody who approaches God, God calls him a Mahatma. That is why the word Mahatma. Right? Even if you want some benefit from devotional service, God says no problem. Children come to us, na? Mama, 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 yaar, you're so sweet. In exactly 20 seconds, you know कि अच्छा बच्चा क्या चाहिए तुमको आज, right? But you still love that child because the child has come to you so lovingly. So God does not dislike you. He says, oh my God, I'm so happy that they didn't go idhar udhar. They came to me. It's only because they have so much faith in me that they've come to me. राइट? सो इट्स ओके. मटीरियल बेनिफिट उसको चाहिए, बेचारा कहाँ जाएगा? मेरे पास ही तो आएगा ना. जब तक उसके डिजायर्स खत्म नहीं होंगे, he needs to finish these desires. So good, now for these desires he is not going idhar udhar, he is coming to me. So God is very very happy. God says कोई भी reason हो, as long as he is coming to me, I am supremely happy, right? But he says yes, while I think all of you are Mahatmas, that person who has knowledge is very very dear to me, and that is why we need to study, right? Because as we get more and more knowledge, then our devotion का एक ही reason हो जाता है. Devotion is because we truly love God, right? When you become a pure devotee, all you want is to serve the Lord just because you want the Lord to be happy. You don't want anything in return. You're just always in love with God. You're always thinking about God, right? So this Jnani Bhakta is the highest. So the other guys, God says, they are also very, very magnanimous. Whatever reason they come to me, I love them all. They're all privileged. They're all blessed, right? I will make sure that I will be with them every time they approach me. But yaar, come on. I like that chap who comes to me without expecting any material returns. Right? Ye yathamam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. Whatever you come to me for, I give you that. Right? But that jnani is beautiful is because he does not ask me for anything. And as soon as I give him, he does not run away. बच्चे होते हैं ना, mama, I want this, mama, you're so nice. The minute you give it to them, gayab. Until the next time they want something. Right? So the arthos, the atharthis, every time they are in trouble, every time they want something going to God. As soon as they get it, Bhagwan bhul hai. Till the next time you want something. God says, okay, not bad. But I like the Jnani more is because he stays with me. He's constantly working to do seva, to make me happy, right? He's completely surrendered. And so I think I will always keep him empowered. Right? Do you understand? Ki whatever reason we go to God, he loves us. But slowly our effort should be to get more and more knowledge of God and surrender unto him. Right? And then we come to the most beautiful verse. Very, very often this verse is quoted. Please repeat after me. Verse number 19. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha.
After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare.
Lovely. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing that I am the cause of all causes and all that is. Right? Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ishvara Paramakrishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. A person who actually understands this, Krishna says, such a great soul is very, very rare. Now please understand this verse very carefully. It's a very important verse. It's quoted very, very often. In this verse, Krishna is establishing that bhakti is superior to jnana. Please understand this verse. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. For many, many lifetimes, right? This person is seeking knowledge. He is jnanavan. Every lifetime he is getting more and more and more knowledge. This jnani is engaging in this brainy act of acquiring knowledge. Right? He is spending several lifetimes acquiring knowledge. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyante. And after all these lifetimes, bahunam janma ke baad, what does he do? Mam prapadyante. He finally surrenders to God. After many births he realizes कि my ultimate surrender should be to the Supreme Lord. Jnanavan mam prapadyante. And why does he surrender? Because after many janma of seeking knowledge, he has understood Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Everything is Vasudev. Vasudev is the cause of all causes. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. After many lifetimes of seeking knowledge, a Jnani realizes कि Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Everything is Vasudev. Which means what? He's reached Bhakti. Bhakti starts when you say Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. Bhakti starts when you say Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Namami. Right? So at the end of so many lifetimes, a Jnani becomes a Bhakta. Right? And Krishna says, Sa Mahatma, this kind of Mahatma is very rare. Sa Mahatma su durlabha, बहुत मुश्किल से तुमको भक्त दिखेंगे. Okay, let's understand how Jnana leads to Bhakti. Simple example, you're walking on the beach. Okay, you're merrily walking on the beach, you're having a good time. Suddenly something pokes you, you look down and it's shining, it's glittering, so you pick it up. It's a very pretty looking ring. You don't think much about it, but it's pretty. Right? It may be artificial, किसी का गिर गया है, होगा 50-100 रुपए का, but it's pretty, so you pick it up, right? You put it in your pocket, and you continue to walk. Right? A few days later, you're visiting a goldsmith और तुमको ध्यान में आता है. Right? So you pull out that ring and you show it to that goldsmith. यार ये डिजाइन देखो यार, ये डिजाइन बना लो. So the goldsmith says, oh, this is a gold ring. Right? ये होगी यार 5-10 ग्राम की तो होगी. ये होगी 50-60 हजार, I don't know right now, 90,000, 70,000, yeah, 70,000. So this must be worth about 70,000-75,000 bucks. You're suddenly so thrilled. Right? Why? Because you thought it was nothing. You got a little knowledge about it. So it became more precious. So you started wearing it every day. Few days pass by, your uncle visits you. Let's say your uncle is a diamond merchant from Gujarat. And uncle visits you. Uncle looks at your ring and says, wow, what an exquisite diamond you're wearing. Where did you get this from? This must be at least 5 lakh ka. Now what happens? Oh my God, you're so thrilled. Right? Now you love that ring far more than what you loved it the day you found it. Or what you loved it when you knew it was made of gold. Now you know that ring ka real value, and so you've fallen more and more in love with that ring. Now you clean that ring nicely, you'll put it safely in your tizori, you'll pull it out for all kinds of special functions. Why? Because you know uska real value. So remember, जब थोड़ा knowledge होता है या knowledge नहीं होता है, you don't experience too much love. Right? थोड़ा knowledge बढ़ा, you experience a little love. बहुत knowledge बढ़ा, you experience a lot of love. Right? So direct relationship between knowledge and love. When the value of that ring was nothing, the love for it was also हाँ ठीक है, pocket में डाला भूल गया. When knowledge increased, the love for it and the joy that you got from that ring kept increasing. And this is exactly what Krishna says. Every time you sit down like a jnani trying to get knowledge, you get little more knowledge, you fall more in love with God. है ना? गजेंद्र की स्टोरी सुनी, अच्छा प्यार लगा. द्रौपदी की सुनी, you liked him even more. Right? ध्रुव महाराज की सुनी, of course God will come to protect me. कुंती महारानी का सुनो, ultimate. Right? You will know कि भाई मेरा और कोई नहीं है. विपदः संतुतः शश्वत. She says, every time trouble came in my life, there was one constant. We all know that the footprints, right? We've all read that, the footprints, right? This man who says, God, every time I was in trouble, I saw you walking beside me. No. Every time I was not in trouble, right, there were two pairs of footprints on the sand. There was me and there was you walking beside me. But every time I was in trouble, there was only one set of footprints. What the hell? Why did you leave me when I was in trouble? And what does Jesus say? No, you stupid kid. Yeah. At that point, I was carrying you. Those are only my footprints. Right? That is Kunti Maharani's faith. She knows every time there was trouble. Who carried her? Krishna carried her through that trouble. Right? Her children were given poison. Her children and she were sent into that Lakshagraha. Remember that house made of lakh, where they were supposed to be burned to death. Right? Then Draupadi ka Vastraharan hua. Then they went into exile, where that Hidimba and all those demons attacked them. Right? Then they had to fight that big battle of Kurukshetra. Then of course the worst, Ashwathama left that Brahmastra to kill the last seed of the Pandavas. Every single incident, who protected them? Krishna. So a jnani goes through many lifetimes and realizes Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. And that knowledge, that wisdom gets him to surrender unto God with complete bhakti. And Krishna says, yaar, ye bhakta hai na, mujhe sabse zyada pyara hai. And this bhakta is very, very rare. So we'll end this week praying that we all go ahead in our bhakti. Grantha Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Thank you all for joining. Yes, Subhalakshmi.
Madam, see that Abhimanyu is Arjuna's son. Okay. Then why Krishna didn't protect him?
Because he didn't call out to Krishna. Ye yathamam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. Abhimanyu, usko to आधा ही आ रहा था. Right? Chakravyuha, he had heard half in his mother's womb. Right? That much he fought. He fought on his own strength. Right? He did not surrender. But also, Subhalakshmi, we need to understand that all of this, right, is to teach us different aspects of spirituality. It showed us why it was so important to kill Karna. Right? Because Karna, I love Karna. I think he's such a beautiful character in the Mahabharata. My heart goes out to him. But Karna stood there watching while Abhimanyu was being killed in a very adharmic way. 6 people got together to kill one 16-year-old boy. It was against everything that we call dharma. Right? So God teaches us so many lessons कि अधर्मियों का नाश होना जरूरी था. Right? How dare they do that to a young boy? They should have fought one-on-one. And if they had fought one-on-one, then who knows what the outcome would have been. And that would have been a fair battle. Right? But, well, it happened. So Abhimanyu did not at that point surrender to Krishna. And so remember, death on the battlefield also takes him back home. Because he was doing what a Kshatriya should do. Fight. Right? He's fighting to protect the land. So Abhimanyu got a very glorious death. No? We're all good? Good. Thank you. We'll see you all next week. And please keep up the study. Believe me, the more we understand, especially from the 7th chapter onwards, right? This is Bhakti Yoga. It is so beautiful. We are going to hear more and more about Krishna's Aishwarya, more and more about his protection. Right? So please come in with your heart full of love and listen to these. If you have any questions, please do ask. Okay? Thank you all for joining. I'll see you next Saturday. Sonal, I can't hear you, darling.
What does surrender mean? Like, what do you mean by surrender and how do you surrender?
Rakhi Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. Whatever happens is Krishna's will. Acha hua to bhi thank you God. Bura hua to I'll tell you, I just read, abhi wo Muharram chal raha tha na. Somebody had such a beautiful post. It said, कि when Allah answers your questions, answers your prayer, right? It means He loves you. But when Allah does not answer your prayers immediately, it means he wants to hear your voice again and again. Surrender means simply going back. Who do you go to when you're in trouble? Papa, I've hit my car. है ना? Do you go to a neighbor? Do you go to a friend? No, Papa, I've hit a car. You know? So that is surrender. You know कि एक ही बंदा है जो मुझे कार के मुसीबत से निकालने वाला है. Police is going to catch me. It was drunk driving. Whatever has happened. You know कि ठीक है पापा है ना, बाद में तो थप्पड़ भी मारेंगे. लेकिन who did you go to? Papa. Right? That is surrender. Because you know he is the only one who is going to protect me at that point. That is surrender. When you know कि जो भी हो, he is going to tarify me. He is going to get me out from this material world. Right? That is surrender. When you know कि whatever I do, Krishna, I want you to be happy with it. Right? I'm doing my regular work. But Krishna, please be the voice in my head. Please protect me if I'm doing something wrong. प्लीज मुझे रोक देना, मुझे सुना देना. भगवान जी मुझे है ना ये चाहिए, लेकिन अगर आपको ठीक लगे तो ही देना, वरना मत देना. लेट इट बी योर चॉइस. सो राखे कृष्णा मारे कृष्णा राखे के. राइट? अवश्य रक्षी बे कृष्णा. दिस इज सरेंडर. आई एम श्योर कृष्णा यू गोना प्रोटेक्ट मी. एंड इफ यू डोंट, then maybe that is how you want my life to continue. So surrender simply means turning to that one place where you're sure you will be protected, and you'll accept whatever form of protection you get. When Krishna gives you what you want, it is his mercy. When he doesn't give you what you want, it is his protection. Right? Very recently a friend of mine was telling me that her son was so sure that he's going to get this particular job, let's say. Right? He didn't get it. I said, Krishna's protection. And she said, why? I said, God could probably, foresee. See, we only see itna. We can see what is in this room. We can't see beyond the wall. Krishna knew, इतने से एज में इतना बड़ी सैलरी वाला अगर इस बंदे को जॉब मिल जाता, as it is, he's been raised knowing that he's a very smart kid, where do you think his arrogance would have gone? Where do you think his sense of, I am so smart would have gone? He would never have thought that there's somebody else that may be smarter than me, that I may not be as smart as I think I am. So maybe this is Krishna's protection. Right? All failures are actually Krishna's protection. He's trying to teach us something. It's up to us to pick out what is it that Krishna wants me to learn from this. Right? Protection. So that. I don't know, Sonal, does that answer your question? Little by little.
Context. So what happens is, many times in the night I go to Netflix and watch a few series and movies. And those nights I generally am not able to fall asleep very peacefully. So these are the times when I say, oh God, now protect me. Stimulated.
We all suffer that, right? I mean, Netflix is a putana in our life. Right? We all suffer it. Right? We all get into binge watching. Right? And we all know, even scientifically, bhai, agar itna screen dekh liya hai, to for your, for your brain to rest and for you to get your sleep is going to be difficult. Solution. Mala हाथ में पकड़ो, chanting शुरू करो, जब तक नींद आएगी तब तक chanting करो.
Some days it works, many days it does not. Context, I asked this question, what does surrender mean? And then
surrender means कि बेवकूफ लड़की, तुझे पता है कि इतना ज्यादा नेटफ्लिक्स देख के तुमको ये सारे गड़बड़ होने वाले हैं, है ना? थोड़ा सा खुद के मन पे कंट्रोल लाओ. See, the whole thing about your spiritual path, right, is to know that you have to control your senses. It starts with control of senses. So Krishna is saying, bhai, go learn your second chapter again. I'm telling you, control your senses. है ना? लेकिन नहीं हो रहा है. कृष्णा, गलती होगी भैया. Watch 6 episodes today. कल एटलीस्ट 4 पे लाना, उसके बाद 2 पे लाना, है ना? I'm not saying give up, because to me also, sometimes I think it's so important for me to be relevant for my kids. I watched this nonsense, Kohara, so nonsensical. But somebody had told me it was fantastic. Right? I watched it and I'm thinking, what did I get by wasting 6 hours here? But ठीक है ना, I'm relevant to the crowd that I live with. But हाँ यार, भगवान को है ना कैसे शामिल कर लेना, उस माल करके फिर सो जाना. Right? So it's okay. We are in this material world. Right? We are here. We need to live out our grahasthashram here. So it's okay. Like I said, 5th day, right? At the end of the day, when I saw my husband and my kids, Sonal, nobody forced me to come back home. But I hadn't seen my 3 kids together in a long time. Right? And they traveled all the way where a lot of cops stopped them, said, Nahi dindi ja rahi hai, you cannot go. My husband bluffed his way through. And they did all of that just to come and meet me for my birthday. And I said, how can I be so selfish? Right? I picked up my bags and I came back home. Grahasthashram calling. And I don't think God is angry with me for doing that. Right? We all have to make our little choices. I'm so grateful that He gave me the 5 days. Right? So it's okay. गृहस्थी में रह रहे हैं, ऐसी चीजें होने वाली है. Come back. It's so beautiful that in the night you're praying कि भगवान जी बचा ले. You're Krishna conscious. है ना? You are God conscious. What is the ultimate goal? Be God conscious. You are God conscious. Who are you praying to? I don't personally think that God conscious is constantly holding the mala and japoing. I think just knowing deep within that He is your ultimate shelter, that is being God conscious. Right? So don't beat yourself up. Uma Rathod Mataji, you want to ask something?
You have said that there are 3 things: Janma, Mrityu, and Jarati.
There are 4. Janma, Mrityu, Jara is old age, Jara is old age, and Vyadhi is disease. सबको जो जन्म लेता है, ओल्ड एज आएगा, एंड ओल्ड एज में डिसीज. Even if you're very, very fit, you're not like what you were when you were born.
So that word Jarati.
Jara and Vyadhi.
Jara and
Vyadhi. Jara is old age. Vyadhi, dis-ease. You're not at ease. Right? You're not at ease the way you were in your youth. So it is dis-ease. So disease is Vyadhi.
Right.
Okay?
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. Thank you all for joining.